Hello neighbor, this is Curt with eTrailer, and today we're taking a look at the Thule WingBar Edge roof rack, and we're going to see how it fits and how it installs on our 2022 Nissan Armada. Roof rack is a great way to carry those extra items with you on your journey that either won't fit in the vehicle with you, or you just don't want them riding in the vehicle with you at all. The kind of accessories you can get for these are going to be, platform racks. You can get cargo boxes, cargo baskets, bike racks, kayak carriers, any number of things that can go up there on your roof. Now, there is a generous cargo area here in the Armada. However, if you have a full load of passengers, maybe you're using the third row of seats too, that can actually take up a lot of that extra cargo space pretty quickly. So having a roof rack that can hold an accessory that can carry those extra items with you is going to be a huge bonus. Now the Thule WingBar Edge is going to mount to the raised rails on your Armada using this strap right here. It is a flush crossbar, meaning that the crossbar dead ends inside of the tower. It doesn't extend out beyond it. So that actually gives you a really nice factory type of look. It looks very streamlined without having any of the overhang on it. The flip side to that would be that you're going to have to mount things up here closer to the center of the vehicle, and you don't have as much bar space or as much opportunity to put two accessories side by side. But with that being said, these do take a weight capacity of 165 pounds. However, you always want to double check the roof capacity in your owner's manual and make sure that that number isn't going to be lower than that. If the number is lower than the 165 pounds of the crossbars, that will end up being your weight capacity. The crossbars that we have are what they call an aero style. They're wider in the front, narrow in the back. That makes them much more aerodynamic than your typical square or round bars. It's also going to have this split weather stripping up here at the top so you can mount your T-mounted accessories, and you're going to be able to use your clamp mount accessories around the bar as well. The T-track is accessible by removing your tower cover and sliding it down over it from there. But that's just a little bit about what these crossbars can do and how they look. Let's get up on the roof on the other side with a measuring tape and see how it actually fits. Now, when you're on raised rails, you can actually have the freedom to kind of move your crossbars around wherever you want. We place these specifically where they're at so that they're accessible very easily from your second row door threshold, like I'm standing in right now. And let's just take the opportunity to see what kind of crossbar spread we end up with. The crossbar spread, I'm going to measure from the middle of the back crossbar to the middle of the front, so right the center of the T-track. And it's an important number to know because every rooftop accessory has a minimum and a maximum crossbar spread allowable in order to use that accessory. And we've got this set up to be just under 29 inches, and that to me is kind of a perfect crossbar spread. 25 to 35 inches is where you find most of the minimums and maximums when it comes to accessories going up here. So having it be around that 29-inch mark is just perfect. I'm not too worried about not finding accessories that are going to go up here with this fit. The other thing we're going to take a look at too is how much bar space do we actually have? Because these dead end into the towers, it's going to be an important number to know, and we're going to come up with 39 1/2 inches of crossbar space that you're going to be able to use. So keep that in mind, as well as the crossbar spread. That should help you determine what kind of accessories you could put up here. We're also going to take a look at just how much clearance we have under our bar, and we actually have about 1 inch of clearance under here. Now that should be enough to get your clamp mounted accessories around the bar without that much issue, but it is something to keep in mind. These do sit a little bit lower on the roof than a lot of roof rack systems with taller towers that, but honestly, I think that would kind of take away from the look of these being so streamlined and aerodynamic with the vehicle. So let's see how much height these actually add to your vehicle. From the center of the roof to the top of the crossbar, it's going to add about 2.5 inches to your vehicle height. So if you're worried about roof clearance and you know your vehicle height and you know your accessory height, just add that 2.5 inches and you'll get your overall vehicle height in case you run into an area with low clearance. And one more thing to add, with the length of these rails and the length of the roof here of the Armada, You also have the opportunity to add, or the space rather, to add a third bar if you wanted to get that extra support. But with all that being said, installation on these is actually a really simple process. It is something that you can do on your own without any help if you needed to. So follow along and we'll show you exactly how we got these on the roof of our Armada. We're just going to get all the parts laid out here. We've installed our front bar already. We're going to walk you through how to install the second one. They go on exactly the same. So there's no difference in putting on the front bar as there is the second bar. You're really only going to need two tools. The one that Thule actually provides for you and a tape measure that you'll have to provide yourself. So where we're going to begin is with our tower here. And we'll start by removing the tower cover. It'll slide right off like that. And then as we look in here, there's a couple of, different little mechanisms and hooks that we're going to be getting into. What we're going to be doing with it open though is actually putting on our strap. So the way that that's going to work is there's these numbers here, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and that's going to indicate how long and how short your strap needs to go. Now you're going to find that out by measuring the circumference of the rails up on your roof. So the circumference we measured was at about 117, 118 millimeters. According to the instructions, we're looking for slot 2. So where we're going to put that into is right here. There's a little hook mechanism here that's going to hook through this tab. We just want to hook that through slot number 2. Once we get it good and secure there, we're going to grab this piece here. It's going to have a long spring attached to it, and that's going to be slotted in right here on the edge, on the narrower end of our crossbar. At this point, we're going to go ahead and grab our tower. Now, if you get confused about which tower goes on which side, they are driver and passenger side specific. The portion here, this round cutout for the keyhole, is always going to be facing the rear of the vehicle. So at this point, what we're going to end up doing is this section is going to go in right through here, just like so. The spring, there's an open end here with a little tab on the end of it. And what we're going to do is make sure that we feed that through there and into that tab. There's a tab located at the end of this bolt that's going to end up popping out of that hole right there on our crossbar, just like so. Now we've got this end locked in, and we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side of the crossbar. Both of our towers attached. Next thing we need to do is add the weather stripping to our crossbar. So it's going to come like this. You're going to need to separate it first. Then you'll notice that one of the pieces of weather stripping has these arrows, and those need to be facing the front of the bar, so that would be the wider end of the bar. It's got this little section here that's just going to slide right into there. Now this is going to end up being a little bit longer than the crossbar, and that's okay. Just make sure that you're not leaving any gaps up here in the crossbar itself. So you can go over this a little bit if you need to. But we're just going to depress that into that slotted section there and just work our way all the way down. We got a little bit extra on the end there, but again, that is okay. Next, we're going to take the plain side of it, and there we have the same exact way to attach it through that slot. So we're just going to start over here, press it in, and just work our way down. If you've got a friend to help you out with this, that makes it a bit easier, but by no means do you have to have somebody with you to do this. What I'm going to do is I'm basically working it so that that rubber strap is going under the bar. I'm just going to kind of put it in place a little bit, and that spring we installed is going to allow us to compress our bar a little bit in order to get the other end around. So I'm going to feed that under the bar, just depress this in a little, bring it out the other side, and I'm going to make sure that this kind of cups around over the top without folding in or anything like that. And I'm moving this back so that the strap ends up butting up right against this support structure here. You're pretty much free to put your bars wherever you really want to, but it's a good idea to make sure that you have a good crossbar spread, meaning how far apart your bars are to accommodate those different rooftop accessories. And I'm setting these up specifically right here so that I don't have to carry a ladder or a step stool with me. I got the bars positioned right in the middle of the second row door threshold where I'm standing now, so I'll be able to access those accessories up here that much easier. But once I've got it in position on the driver's side here, I'm just going to move over to the passenger side and I'm going to do the same thing. Wrap this rubber strap around our rail and it's going to hook into these two hook tabs right here. We're going to take the tool that Thule provided for us and we're going to use it through this bolt right here that's located right underneath the weather stripping of our crossbar, and we're just going to start tightening it in. And as we do, it's pulling these hooks that hold our strap inward underneath the bar, which is why this has such a long stem to it. But what I'm going to be doing is just kind of tightening this down a little bit, and I'm going to be kind of alternating back and forth between the driver and passenger side. What I don't want to do is tighten one side down completely and kind of risk making the other one go a little bit askew. So once I get this to where the loop is kind of a little more snug on here, I'm going to go do the same on the driver's side and just work my way back and forth as I'm tightening it down. Now as you get it tighter, your bolt is probably going to go under the bar, which is why they made the stem of this so long. So as you're in there getting it tightened down, you're going to feel it start to really get tight on you, and then you're going to hear a click like that. This is actually a torquing tool, so when you hear that click, you know that it's tight enough according to Thule standards, and once that's done on both sides, we're ready to grab our tower covers. You're going to notice a gap right here. That's where your lock core is going to go. Now, when you get these out of the box, Thule is going to provide you with these plastic lock cores, and those go in really, really simply. There's a tab here on one side. If you look in, there's a groove here at the bottom. So I'm just going to insert it like that and snap it in just like so. My recommendation would be, however, for the security of towers, to go ahead and get yourself a set of metal key cords and the keys that match it. Those are available right here at etrailer.com, and you have the opportunity to get them key-to-like to your other Thule accessories through Thule's One Key system. Now, to get the tower cover on is a pretty simple process. Remember, our key core there, or our lock core there, is going to go toward the back of the vehicle. There's these tabs here that are going to slide in on either side, just like so, and clicked into place. Now, with this right here, you can use a coin or something like that to get it open or shut. We're just going to use a flathead screwdriver today to get this down and locked onto our roof. But with that, everything is in place. If we give it a good shake on each one, the bar isn't slipping anywhere, our towers aren't slipping anywhere, so we're ready to load up and hit the road on our next adventure. So that's a look at the Thule WingBar Edge roof rack on our 2022 Nissan Armada. And if after watching this video you decide that this will be the roof rack for you, once you get it, install it, and use it a few times, please share what you think about it in the comments below. We would love to share your experience with other neighbors just like you in order to help them make the best decision for themselves. Once again, this is Curt with eTrailer. Thanks for stopping by.